Sunday. Bleh. Good morning and welcome. It's 9:30. It is the 24th day of October 2021, and I am your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, sports, conspiracy, speculations, and sarcasm. The OGGM operating on about 1 hour of sleep. Orange juice. So we are continuing our exploration of the core races of Dungeons and Dragons, 5th edition, and today we're doing the Dwarf. There's a lot of things to say about the Dungeons and Dragons Dwarf. It is one of my favorite races, mostly because I love the dwarfs from The Hobbit. But the big mystery, of course, regarding dwarves is why can't dwarves be wizards / spellcasters? Because we don't know. It says kingdoms rich in ancient grandeur, halls carved into the roots of mountains, the echoing of picks and hammers in deep mines and blazing forges, a commitment to clan and tradition, and a burning hatred of goblins and orcs. These are common threads that unite all dwarves. They're apparently slow to trust what elves. That says it's not wise to depend upon elves. No telling what an elf will do next. So we know that there's some thing about elves and dwarves getting along that dates back, not getting along, but dates back to the elvish dwarvish issues from the Lord of the Rings, and just generally it's been all the way back, just sort of assumed from day one that elves and dwarves don't get along. Elves being flighty and chaotic, dwarves being more hardy and lawful, elves being all about magic and living a really long time, and dwarves being all about family and loyalty and crafting and I don't know. Dwarf tastes. Constitution score increases by 2. Dwarves mature the same rate as human, but they're considered young until they reach the age of 50. On an average, they live about 350 years. Of course, this has now been changed. Everybody in D&D lives about 100 years, according to Witchlight. Alignment. Most dwarves are lawful, believing firmly in the benefits of a well-ordered society. They tend towards good as well, with a strong sense of fair play and a belief that everyone deserves to share in the benefits of a just order. Size. Dwarves stand between 4 and 5 feet tall on an average of about 150 pounds. Your size is medium for the sake of combat mechanics. Of course, under the new rules, dwarves can be as tall or short as you want. Hashtag Dwarven Basketball Team. Base speed. Your base speed, walking speed is 25. Your speed is not reduced by wearing heavy armor. So under the rules, the more weight you're carrying, the slower you get. And there is something about heavy armors, actually, like plate mail or stuff, weighing you down, so you move slow, but because of dwarves' innate sturdiness, that does not affect them. Dark vision. Accustomed to a life underground, you have superior vision in the dark and dim conditions. You can see in dim light within 60 feet of you, as if it were bright light, and in darkness as if it were dim light. You cannot discern color in darkness, only shades of gray. Dwarven resilience. You have advantage on saving throws against poisons, and you have resistance against poison damage, which means you take half damage from poison. So advantage means against a poison you would roll twice on a d20, adding all the modifiers, and take the higher of the two. Resistance means that if it was poison that did damage as opposed to requiring a saving throw, you would take half damage. Or if you failed the saving throw, you'd still take half damage. Or if you made the saving throw and it was a 30-15 type poison, you would then take half of the 15. Basically, dwarves are really, really resistant to poison. Dwarven combat training. You have proficiency with the battle axe, hand axe, light hammer, and war hammer. Never was quite sure about what it was with dwarves and axes. They live underground. They're miners. Apparently you can mine with an axe, or also dwarves are really just good lumberjacks, or just it looks cool with a dwarf holding an axe because of Gimli. Tool proficiency. You gain proficiency with the artisan tools of your choice. Blacksmith tools, brewer tools, or mason tools. Well, technically it's any type of smith tools, but blacksmith. Brewers or mason tools. Stone cunning. Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the origin of stonework, you are considered proficient in the history skill and I double your proficiency bonus to the check instead of your normal proficiency bonus. How old are these rocks? Languages. You can speak, read, and write Common and Dwarvish. Dwarvish is full of hard consonants and guttural sounds, and those characteristics spill over into whatever other language the dwarf might speak. And apparently, dwarves are Scottish because of World of Warcraft and Gimli. Then we have the two sub-dwarf races, Hill Dwarf. You get an additional bonus of Wisdom +1, and your hit point maximum increases by 1 and is increased by 1 every time you gain level. That's not bad. And then we have the Mountains Dwarf. Your agility score goes up by 2, and you're proficient in light and medium armor. So you would think with that bonus to Wisdom, you would have dwarvish clerics, but again, there's this whole thing about dwarves aren't spellcasters, but why? Doesn't say anywhere in here. There is another alternate dwarf race, and that is the Mountain Dwarf. And that's on this one, except that one's not working. So we have Mountain Dwarf. Where Mountain Dwarf? Oh, you get a +2 to con. Yeah. And a +2 to strength. You get the normal +2 to con for being a mountain dwarf, and then you get an additional +2 to strength because you are strong, and you get the dwarven armor training. But again, nothing about why dwarves don't like magic or can't cast magic. It says other than just the fact that there's no innate intelligence bonus for being a dwarf, I looked, I couldn't find anything that says why dwarves specifically don't like elves, other than apparently they're sort of this innate mistrust, and there's nothing here, as you can see, about why dwarves can't be wizards, other than just sort of we've all sort of collectively accepted that dwarves aren't spellcasters, but I don't know. They make magic items and magic weapons. Well, whatever. I suppose if in your game, if you want to have dwarven spellcasters, you could. Or if you wanted to stick with the general belief that they're not spellcasters, you could. Maybe in one of the other books that we're going to look at later on, like Tasha's or Vecna's or Mordekainen's, they might have adapted and now have rules for dwarven spellcastings. I mean, you know, with the way D&D is today, whatever you want. So, your world is your world. If you want dwarves to get along with elves and are spellcasters, go for it. If you appreciate this look into all the races, let me know. If you want to know why I'm doing this, let me know. This is as much for my education as it is for yours. If you never want to hear me do this ever again, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 1,000 subs. If you're feeling generous with the holidays coming up, consider supporting me through the various ways you can support me. Until next time, I am your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and sports, conspiracy, speculation, and sarcasm, the angry old man who disagrees with everyone, the OGGM.